welcome to TVS Correspondent, where you take a glimpse of what's happening in the United States and around the world. Here with me, Shahmina, and with me here is our correspondent, Alfian Zaini from the United States of America, who is now in Washington, D.C. Now, Alfian, how are you doing today?
Hi, Cheryl. I'm doing okay. Doing fantastic as usual, despite the cooling weather as we enter into winter.
I see, that's great. Now, there has been some interesting developments and some updates recently, which I think we have a lot of great news to unpack for today, aside from the cold weather that you're having there now. So, word is getting around that US regulators have expanded their eligibility for booster shots of COVID-19 vaccines to all adults since last Friday. So, how did the eligibility of the booster shots demonstrated the ability in fighting the virus? Perhaps in the US landscape. So, Alfian, could you share on how the expansion of the eligibility was finally realized?
Yes, that's right, Cheryl. Firstly, I would like to highlight that this move has allowed millions more Americans to get additional protection against the virus amidst a recent rise in infections. The Biden administration first proposed boosters for everyone in August, but has made them available in stages as health experts argued there was not enough data to support the need for further vaccination in all groups. Now that's amazing for the people here, and especially myself as well, as I've just received my booster shot. I think last couple of weeks. Now, the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Rochelle Walensky, signed off on the expanded eligibility on Friday evening after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) broadened its authorization of booster doses to all adults who had received their second shot of either the Pfizer BioNTech or Moderna Incorporated vaccine at least 6 months prior. Regulators had previously authorized boosters for all recipients of Johnson Johnson's one-dose vaccine 2 months after their primary dose. Cheryl?
Right. Now, as what I know, the US, as you mentioned previously, is entering the winter holidays and season. So, another question, Alfian, could this be a push factor for regulators to slowly increase people's protection by expanding the booster shot eligibility?
Oh, yes, indeed. The winter holidays are sure coming, and this will curb severe outcomes. According to the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Rochelle Walensky, the booster shot is significantly important as an important public health tool to strengthen the defenses in the US. Most adults were already eligible for the additional shots, but fewer than 18% had received one, according to CDC data. But many public health officials felt that the previous eligibility requirements were too complicated, Cheryl.
Right. So, in pursuit of the current guidelines that the US currently has, as you mentioned, might be this affect the update of boosters?
Yes, Cheryl, I mean, in pursuit of precision, they created confusion. Though the current guidelines are well intentioned and thoughtful, they also generate an obstacle to uptake of boosters. Due to concern that eligible individuals are not receiving boosters now, the CDC have moved to further clarify the uptake.
So now that we know that they have clarified the uptake, maybe what would you know are among the recommended clarifications which were suggested by CDC with the different categories of groups of high and low risk and such?
According to an agency spokesperson, the CDC stopped short of saying all adults should get a booster. For those aged 18 to 49, the agency said individuals may get the vaccine if they choose to. The CDC also moved to further clarify recommendations for people aged 50 to 64, suggesting all in this age group should get a booster rather than only those with underlying medical conditions that put them at risk. The agency's guidelines mirrored recommendations unanimously backed by a panel of CDC advisors earlier in the day, Cheryl.
Right. So before we move on to our commercial break, Alfian, just a quick update. How are the current trend of cases in the US? And also, could this booster with the increasing vaccination rate among those people there, should this guide the country to move beyond the worst of the pandemic in the coming months?
After about 2 months of declining infections, the United States has reported daily increases for the past 2 weeks, driven by the more easily transmitted Delta variant of the virus and people spending more time indoors due to colder weather. And worryingly, experts say that the United States could face a major wave of COVID 19 cases this winter, and hence why protection is now waning. But now, more than 32 million Americans have received boosters, which had been authorized for the immunocompromised, those aged 65 and above, and for individuals with health issues that put them at risk of severe disease, including obesity, or who are regularly exposed to the virus through work or living conditions, Cheryl.
Yes, I think this is very important as more people are exposed, and due to the colder weather, we are staying indoors. And I think this could be replicated the same also in Malaysia, as that we could be having a risk of a possible wave of infections. Right, now that's all for the first segment, and we're up for a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back again to TVS Correspondent, this time on a different topic. And aside from the first segment that we have mentioned on the eligibility of COVID 19 boosters in the US, we are now back again with our correspondent, Alfian. So, now, Alfian, food and gas prices, as we know, are on the rise as global supply chains and the economy drag. So, how would this affect the economic impact on the upcoming Thanksgiving dinner inflation in the US?
Thanksgiving dinner will cost US consumers an average of 14% more this year, in the biggest annual increase in 31 years, said the American Farm Bureau Federation found in its 36th annual survey, Cheryl. Consumers should still be able to find deals, though. AFBF senior economist Veronica Nye pointed to dramatic disruptions to the US economy and supply chains, as well as inflationary pressure as the causes of the jump.
So this is due to the Thanksgiving in line with the celebration that is coming over, and this hits just in time as a post-pandemic era. So could this be due to the trend of consumers during the pandemic? There is a change to that. Could it be?
Precisely, Cheryl. The trend of consumers cooking and eating at home more often due to the pandemic led to increased supermarket demand and higher retail food prices in 2020 and 2021 compared to pre-pandemic prices in 2019, Cheryl.
So according to your own survey, Alfian, as you may know, since you're residing there, what is the average Thanksgiving dinner for maybe an average number of family?
According to this survey, Cheryl, the average cost of a Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people rose to $53 from a 10-year low of $46 in 2020. The cost is based on Farm Bureau shoppers who checked prices for turkey, cranberries, dinner rolls, and other staples in stores from October 26th to November 8th. According to USDA Agricultural Marketing Service data, grocery stores began advertising lower feature prices later than usual this year. Also, the average per pound feature price for a whole frozen turkey was $1.07 the week of November 5th to 11th, and 88 cents the week of November 12th to 18th, a decline of 18% in just 1 week. This means consumers who have not yet purchased a turkey should be able to find one at a lower cost than the Farm Bureau average, Cheryl.
All right, Alfian, thank you so much for sharing with us. So, we can see that the post pandemic has given a very slight impact on the economy there in the US. And we would like to thank you so much for sharing. And as such, we have traveled from the boosters and also to the inflation price that we have there. And also, first of all, before that, we would like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and also be prepared in the winter season there. And I think that is all for our segment today on TVS Correspondent. And for our viewers, don't forget to catch again on another segment, same time, same day, next week. Thank you, Alfian. See you soon.
Thank you, Cheryl.